Good day, dear senior students of all tracks, business, arts, and science. This is your final revision session for the mainstream course Eng301. I'm Mr. Samir حلابة. I'm going to be your teacher. Let's start. Before we start, we need to have a look at some test-taking tips. Before you start your test, please take a deep breath and relax. Read the questions carefully. Make sure you understand what is being asked. Look at all the choices before you answer. Eliminate the answers that you know are wrong. Check your work for accuracy. And finally, always do your best. Here is our exam format. As you know, this is a new course, and the number of questions and the types of questions are a little bit different from the previous course. You are going to start by listening 1, and for this you will be granted 20 marks for your correct answers. And then you will have listening 2, again the same 20 marks, these are 20 altogether, 10, 10. Next you will have the reading, and you have 20 marks also. Then comes the grammar, 10 marks, vocabulary, another 10, writing, an extra 30, and finally this is the total of your exam, 100 marks, which is going to be turned into 60, and you already have 40 for your classwork. Well, some exam tips for the listening. Please read ahead. When you read the question before you listen, this makes you focus on the answers you need. Try to guess answers. When you have, for example, some spaces to fill in, think of the proper word that can fill in that space. Is it a name? Is it a place? Is it a number? Etc. Write the word you hear. Do not rephrase. Use the very word that you hear. Do not write another word, because in the exam, in the model answer, we are going to have the word home, for example, as an answer. Don't write house, because the examiner or the marker is not going to look for other options. He will look for the one word that he has in his model answer. He needs to stick to the model answer. Well, what if you get lost during the exam? Please keep calm and move forward, because you are going to have a second time to listen. When it comes to listen again, you will check your answers and answer questions that you have missed. If you have true or false questions, please use one sign only, either T or F, or the tick or cross, but don't use these ones because you don't get marks for them. This is TF. It can play the two roles, and this is also a tick and a cross at the same time. These are not marked in the exam. In multiple choice questions, please circle one option only. Be careful with numbers. Don't mix between 15 and 50, 17 and 70, 19 and 90, etc. And then we come to the reading. It is very similar. Read the questions first. This will save you more time. And if you have a difficult question, keep calm and move forward. Then go back to answer that question that you have missed. In true or false questions, again, use one sign only, the same thing that we have spoken about in the listening. In multiple choice questions, MCQ, please circle one option only. Okay, so again, to remind you, these signs are not taken into consideration. We do not give marks for these ones. Well, let's start by looking at the grammar topics we have in our course. As you know, we have 4 units in our book, from Unit 1 to Unit 4, and each unit has 1 or 2 grammar points that you need to focus on. In Unit 1, you need to look at the past perfect tense and the past simple tense as a comparison between the two. We use the past perfect when we want to refer to an event that happened before another event in the past. An example is, in May, she visited the cave again and documented the symbols, but as she prepared to leave, she noticed another small cave that she had missed on her first visit. We are using here the past simple and the past perfect. The past perfect is made up with using had plus the past participle of the main verb. We use it with words like after, as soon as, and it goes like that. You use it in such way. Let's look at the examples. After. The past perfect comes after the word after and before the word before. We usually say after, before. The past perfect comes after the word after and before the word before. After Hannah had eaten breakfast, she went to school. We have here past simple and past perfect. Abdu visited his uncle and, as soon as he had bought some books. As soon as, here it comes before the past perfect as well. All right. We also use it with words like before, by the time, and when. And here are some examples. I had bought some food before I went back home. By the time she came home, her father had gone. When I arrived at the station, the train had already left. Okay. Also, we use the word because. Because she was tired because she had worked all night. Okay, so she was tired because she had done something before. The oldest action is in the past perfect. Also, we use it with words like until. I didn't say anything until she had finished speaking. All right. Now, gentlemen, you have this exercise. I want you to pause the video for a while, try to answer, and then I will be showing you the right answer, the model answer for it. Well, now as you have tried, let's check your answers. Here are the right answers. Check and mark for yourself. Let's move to the next grammar topic we have got. It is the noun modifier, and here we refer to the words that you can use to give extra information about a noun. We can use those noun modifiers before a noun. An example could be with one or more adjectives. We can use adjectives to modify a noun. For example, new shoes, nice but expensive shoes. It could be one word, one adjective, or it could be more than one with a linker or a conjunction. Nice but expensive shoes, for example. It could be with ing or ed adjectives, which we use as or refer to as participles. Okay, as an exciting film or a delayed film. So the film is exciting or the film has delayed. Well, we can use also another noun like a job interview or a sport interview. You get that? So this is how we can use the modifiers before a noun, but also we can use it after a noun. In that case, it would be in that form with a linking verb and adjective or adjectives like her idea is obvious. Here we use a verb like this, a linking one, and we can add any adjectives. He is tall. The lecture was interesting, and so on. These ideas are simple but helpful. Okay, so you can also use one adjective or more than one adjective. We can use also what we call with a prepositional phrase, a phrase that starts with a preposition, like books about history, a book with a blue cover. Here it is used that, let me say, phrase is used as a modifier for the word book or books. All right, and again we have some exercises for this. Gentlemen, we always have our final exam exercises or questions in MCQ form like this. You have a sentence, one space, and you have 4 options to choose. You need to circle one of them. Let's read the first one as an example before I give you time to think of the other. She bought a leather. Is it bag, bags, bagged, or bagging? You get me? Leather here is a noun, and we need another noun that it is going to modify. So she bought a, it means it's one bag only, so we cannot say bags or bagged or bagging. The right answer is going to be bag. Now please pause and do your answers, then look at the key for that exercise. Well, now let's see the right answers. As you can see, here is the right answers. Next, the next grammar point is using the future tenses. We can use a lot of tenses to express a future action. You can use will, you can use the present continuous, you can use going to, you can use might, the future continuous, or the future perfect. And here are the different situations that you can use any of these for. Let's look at them. For predictions, when you are giving a prediction about the future, you can use will, okay? For quick decisions, when you have decided to do something right now, it didn't come to your mind before, you didn't plan for it, also you use will. When you are giving a promise or a threat or making an offer, you also use will, all right? But when you are talking about plans or agreements, you use the present continuous, all right? Especially when, for plans or agreements, you use the form be going to. But when your plan is fixed and it is prepared for, arranged for, you use the present continuous. Well, and also for making a prediction with an evidence. A prediction with an evidence. You see the sky is very cloudy, so you can say it is going to rain, because it might rain just a few seconds after your sentence. Here you use going to. Well, and for also plans or intentions, when you are talking about something that you are intending to do, you can use the present continuous if you are 100% sure, or you can use going to if you are sure but not that 100%. When you are talking about possibilities, something that might happen in the future, you simply use might, all right? Because you are not 100% sure. This is just a possibility, it might happen. When we are talking about an action that will or will not be happening at a specific time in the future, you use the future continuous. You mean that at a specific time in the future, you will be in the middle of doing something. I will be doing the exam at that time next week. So at that time, I will have started the exam and I will be doing it. I'm not done so far. When we are talking about something that will be completed before a specific time in the future, here we are talking about an achievement. When that action will be done, will be finished, here we use the future perfect. The future perfect. By the time I am 50, I will have visited a lot of countries. I will have visited, I will have achieved that. When you are talking again about a specific time in the future that you have started doing something and you didn't finish it, like at 6 p.m. this time in tomorrow, next week, these are keywords that will guide you to choose the future continuous. Or the words we can use with the present, with the future perfect, are by then, by the time, before, or in 2 weeks, okay? So that was, in brief, the different tenses that you can use to talk about a future action. Here we have 9 questions that, again, you need to choose the right answer for. Please pause again and then play to watch the answers and check your answers. Okay, as you have paused, we are back, and these are the key answers for the question. Well, let's move on. The next grammar point is very simple and isn't new for you at all. It is the comparatives and superlatives, the comparison of adjectives and adverbs as well. I'm sure you remember that when we are comparing two things or two groups of things or two people or whatever, we use the er plus than, okay? And when we are talking about more than one person, we use the plus the est. So we have tall, taller than, late, later than, big, bigger than, and we have the tallest, the latest, and the biggest. And here we come to something about spelling. When we have an adjective ending in E, we just add an R, we don't have an ER. When we have an adjective ending in a consonant that comes after a vowel and a consonant, we double the final consonant, the CVC as we call it. C, consonant, V, vowel, C, consonant. We double the final consonant, like big, bigger, small, small, it is the same, thin, thinner, and so on. Okay, so these are for short adjectives. For short adjectives. Why? Because we have some long adjectives that do not follow that way. For long adjectives, we use more or less and the adjective plus than. So more beautiful than, more interesting than, more wonderful than, etc. And for the superlative, we use the most plus the adjective. The most beautiful, the most sadly, the most quickly, the most beautifully, and so on. All right? And for you to determine whether the adjective is long or short, let's say that all adjectives that end in these suffixes are treated as long, even if they are made up of two syllables only. Words like comfortable, A-B-L-E, or incredible, the I-B-L-E. So any adjective ending in these will be considered as a long adjective. Natural, the A-L, important, silent, necessary, careful, heroic, stylish, active, careless, famous. All these suffixes that are used to make an adjective make the adjective long, and we treat it as a long adjective. I mean using more than and using the most with them, not adding anything to the end of these adjectives. All right? Well, however, there are very few adjectives that are irregular, that do not follow that pattern, that rule. They change differently, like good and well, which become better than, and the best. Bad and badly, which becomes worst, worse than, or the worst. Many and much, which becomes more than or the most. Little, which becomes less than or the least. Far, which becomes farther than or further than, and the farthest or the furthest. All right? Here we come again to some exercises on that, and as usual, please pause, do your answers, and then I'll show you the answers to check. Well, we are back. As you have paused and answered, now check your answers. Here are the right answers for these questions. And let's move on to the next grammar point. We're back to noun modifiers again, but this time in a different way. Here we have what we call participial phrases, and here we are using the ing or the ed forms of a verb to give something or a phrase that modifies the noun. The audience learned about a research project starting next year. You see that sentence or that phrase, I'm sorry, in bold, starting next year. This is a modifier for the word project, for the noun project. Or the research done on laughter in the 1990s. Done, that's the past participle, which is used as an adjective here to modify the word research. So we have the participial phrases, phrases that start with the present participle or the past participle. We have also the prepositional phrases. I think we have come over this before when we said books about history or something like that. But however, they are emphasizing the same idea in 2 points in that book. An example would be the lecturer discussed research about different types of laughter about blah blah blah. The results of the survey will surprise everyone. The results of the survey. Here it is starting with a preposition, prepositional phrases. We also have the infinitive phrases. Infinitive phrases are those that are made by using a verb plus to and the verb. An example would be, there is no reason to doubt the results of the research. To doubt here is the infinitive phrase. Or everyone has the ability to distinguish between different kinds of laughter. To distinguish again is the infinitive phrase, to plus the infinitive. And as usual, here we come to some exercises on that. Please, please pause and then I will show you the right answer. Here we are. Check your answers, please, and let's move on. Reporting verbs. Here we are talking about the verbs that we use when we are telling somebody about something that somebody else has done or has said. We use words like said, argued, claimed, suggested, and so on. Some of them are followed by that, like this. For example, he said that the library should be torn down, okay? Or he argued that the library should be torn down. You get me? So these are two verbs that are followed by that. What other verbs come with the demonstrative word that? We have argue, believe, claim, estimate, explain, hope, point out, propose, recommend, report, suggest, say, and state. An example would be Zaha Hadid claimed that architecture, etc. Okay, claim that. However, we have some other verbs that come in that form. It is the verb plus the object and then that. So the object comes between the verb and the demonstrative word that. Here are the verbs that follow that pattern. Advise, convince, and persuade. Most experts advised the city authorities that. Here the verb advise, and here is that, and in the middle you have the object. The object comes in the middle. Advised that. It could be advised Ahmed that. He advised me that, and so on. So it can't be advised that directly. You can use the object in the middle right there. We also have some verbs that use the ing form after. Some people suggested building a new shopping center. Here we have those verbs, propose, recommend, and suggest. So you can say that with the propose, recommend, and suggest. You can use either of the two forms. You can use the ing form, or you can use that, because you already have these up there. Propose is already here also. Recommend is there, and suggest is also should be also right there. Yes, here it is. All right. The last form is using the verb plus object, and then we have the infinitive. An example would be, most experts advise the city authorities to demolish the building. Well, to demolish the building. Advise the city authorities, that's the object, and to instead of the that. You get me? And as usual, here is some exercises on that. Please take your time to pause the video, do the answers, and then we come to checking your answers. Now check your answers and mark yourself. Let's move on to the next grammar point, which is going to be about the conjunctions or the linking words that we use to show a cause or to show an effect. All right? Well, the connectors introduce the reason for something. Are, we have the words because, since, as, due to, owing to, and because of. For, because, since, and as, we use a full sentence after them. But for due to, owing to, and because of, we use a phrase coming after. I mean, we don't have a verb here. We here have a complete sentence with because, since, and as, but with due to, owing to, and because of, we have just a phrase. We don't have a verb. Let's look at the examples. He didn't go out because he had to study for an exam. So you can see after because you have he, the subject, had, that's the verb, to study, that's the complement. And here we have the reason connector, subject and verb, full sentence. Since it was raining, again, since, and we have the subject, was raining, that's the verb. The match was cancelled, the same thing, we have the subject and the verb. He didn't go out because he had to study. Again, because, just like the one up there, okay? It is the same thing. Well, the party was delayed due to heavy traffic. Look here, we don't have a subject, we don't have a verb. It is just a phrase, due to heavy traffic. Many people have left the park because of rain, just one word. It's not even a phrase, just a noun, all right? Let's move to the connectors that are used to show an effect or a result. These were the ones we used to show the reason, and here we come to the ones that we use to show the effect or the result. We have so, therefore, as a result, thus, and consequently. And let's look at the examples. He missed the bus. As a result, he was late. As a result, here we are talking about the effect. What happened because he missed the bus? He was late. Prices rose. Consequently, prices rose. Consequently, sales went down. Consequently, because of that, okay, the result of that was that the sales went down. So is used in the middle of a sentence. Although we use as a result and consequently like that, we use so in the middle to link two clauses. Therefore, as a result, thus, and consequently are usually used at the beginning of a new sentence or after a semicolon. It was very hot, so we went inside. It rained, therefore the match was cancelled. And here we come to the exercises, and as usual, please pause, try to answer. After that, we will be showing you the right answers in the end. As you have done it already, please check your answers. And guys, we're done with the grammar, and here we come to the writing tasks. As you know, we have 4 units, and in each unit we have 1 writing task. In unit 1, you have to write a process essay. In unit 2, an opinion essay. In unit 3, a research report. And in unit 4, a cause and effect essay. Remember that you need to write between 200 to 250 words. Sorry. All right. So that's the word limit you need to use in all your writings. In your exam, you will have 2 writing topics. You need to choose one of them. You are going to write about one topic only, but you will have 2 options to choose from. Let's look at each form of these writings. Let's start with the process essay. That's the layout of a process essay. You need to start with an introduction where you are going to introduce the topic and tell how many stages there are. It shouldn't be a specific number. You can say that several stages, many steps, something like that. Or if you want to specify the number, it's okay. You can say 5 stages, 3 steps, or whatever. And then in the body paragraph, you need to divide your writing into a number of body paragraphs. In each of them, you will talk about some of the steps or stages. So let's say that in the first paragraph, you will mention the first step or the first stages using words like first of all, next, and then. And next, you come to the body paragraph 2. Here you are going to talk about the other or the following stages using words like after that, subsequently, following this, meanwhile, before, after, or then. And finally, you come to a conclusion, and here you mention the last steps or the final stages of that process. Words like finally, the last step is to, are commonly used in this paragraph. Usually, you have a diagram or a table that gives you the information you are going to use in that process. It tells you what are the steps or stages that you need to mention in your process essay. Here are an example. That question is already mentioned in your book, how to make fruit salad. Okay, and as you can see, you have the introduction, the 2 body paragraphs, and the conclusion. You can pause, read it carefully. You can even take a screenshot and keep it for revision. Okay? The second writing topic is writing an opinion essay, and that is the layout of the opinion essay. You start by writing the title, and then you go into the introduction where you are going to give an introductory sentence showing the topic sentence, the main idea of the essay you are going to write about, and you need to give some background information and state your opinion clearly and the thesis of the essay. It is an opinion essay, so you need to say your opinion from the very beginning and try to persuade the reader with that opinion throughout the different parts of your essay. So what comes after the introduction? You are going to divide it into a number of body paragraphs. In body paragraph 1, you are going to mention your first argument. Okay, first argument, and it is usually, depending on the ideas in the book, about the environment, so environmental benefits for something. Then you come to the second argument, and here you talk about the economic advantages of the topic. We are following the pattern in the book, so you start by talking about the benefits for the environment, then the advantages for the economy, the economic one. And the third argument will be about some social implications. What are the benefits that the society might get from that topic you are giving your opinion about? So you have the introduction and then 3 body paragraphs, one about the environment, the economy, and the society. And here we come to the conclusion. That is the place where you are going to summarize the topic and restate your opinion. This is the last thing the reader will read. You need to be very impressive in that part to persuade the reader with your opinion. And again, that's an example, again taken from the book. It is about the benefits of embracing a circular economy. You have it, as you can see, in different paragraphs. That's the introduction, and that's the first body paragraph, second body paragraph, third body paragraphs. As you can see, we start with the first significant advantage. The second advantage is, the third advantage is, and here we are talking, as we said, about the society, about the economy, and about the environment. Finally, we come to the conclusion, where again I said that you are going to summarize the whole stuff and try to convince the reader with your opinion. Unit 3, and that is the writing topic for Unit 3, which is a research report. Gentlemen, here is the layout of the research report. You need to start by writing the title, and after that you will need to write the introduction. Here you are going to give an explanation of the overall topic and give some background information. Okay. Next, you need to talk about previous research on the same topic. You will get the data. The data that you are going to use should be there in your exam paper. You cannot make up stuff from your own mind. Okay. Here in the second paragraph, it should have the title, summary of the previous research. And unlike the other writing topics, you need to write those headings. The 6 headings that we will come across should be written there. Remember, you need to write the word introduction, not write the introduction only. You need to write a heading, introduction, and then write your introduction. A heading, summary of the previous research, and then you start talking about the previous research. Here you are going to mention the results of previous studies, the definition of key terms, and so on. After that, the purpose of your research. After talking about the previous research, you start talking about what is the goal, what is the objective, what is the purpose of your research. Here you are going to give a statement of the goal or goals, if there are many, of the current study. Why did you feel that there is a need to make another study although there are previous ones? Well, what are the gaps that you need to fill? What's the goal of your study? What is your research? Why is your research necessary? You need to explain the problem in the past research. Again, what was missing in the previous research that you need to fill in this one. Next, how did you do your research? Research procedures, and remember the heading should be there. So all the highlighted headings right here should be written in your research report. All right. Here you are going to give a description of how the study was done. How, where, when. You need to answer these questions. And how long, what stages, what did you use to collect data? I mean, did you use interviews, observation, checklist, questionnaires, surveys, etc. All right. Next, you need to give the results of the discussion. Well, your current results, what are the results they have reached, you have concluded in this new research study, and then you compare, a comparison of current results to previous results. Okay, things like an interpretation of what the results might mean. Finally, you come to the conclusion, and here you can make some suggestions for future research or recommendations. You can give a summary of the outcomes, the results, and suggesting direction. All right. So again, please, this is very important, gentlemen. The headings that are highlighted here should be written. Okay, not only the content under each of them, the heading should be there and the content under it. All right. Well, that's a model, another example of a research report, and as I told you, the heading should be there and then the content under it. Okay, so it should go like that. That was one of the topics in the book, age and the use of social media for communication. How does age affect people's use of social media for communication? I mean age groups, teenagers, grown-ups, elderly people, and so on. Well, let's move to the last writing topic. In Unit 4, we need to write a cause and effect essay. Okay, so as you can see, most of them are essays, unless except the previous one, which was a report. So here we have to write about the causes and effects of a specific topic. What is the layout? The layout goes like that. Here we start by the introduction. As usual, you need to introduce the topic. You need to use a hook. A hook is a sentence that can grab the attention of the readers. A sentence could be a question. Have you ever thought of so and so? Have you ever, you mean? Or words like, imagine a world without so and so. You get me? These things usually grab the attention of the reader and makes him want to read the whole text that you have written, the whole essay, and find out what you're writing about. After the hook, you give some background and you end your introduction by the thesis statement. What is your thesis statement? The main idea that you want to reach an answer for in the end. Body paragraph 1. Here you are going to mention the first reason. You said that it is cause and effect, so you need to give reasons. You start by giving the first reason and its effect plus supporting details. And the second paragraph, the second reason with its effects and supporting details. Body paragraph 3, the third reason, its effect and supporting details. Somebody might say, may I just collect all the reasons in one paragraph and give all the let me say the effects in another? It could be. It's no problem. If you want to make it like that, it is okay. But it would be clearer if you follow that pattern. One reason and its effects. So they are very near to each other and they are connected to each other, you know. The second reason and the effect, the third reason and effect. But still, if you prefer to write all the reasons in one paragraph and all the effects in the other, it is accepted, no problem. And finally, we come to the conclusion, where we usually summarize and restate and give our opinion, make a suggestion, or make a prediction, or finally give a call to action or give an advice. Here is an example. Again, one of the topic mentioned in the workbook, which was about the causes and effects of obesity. Obesity is gaining weight in a way that is not normal, you know, not normally, as a kind of disorder or disease. And as you can see, it is well planned in the same way. We have the introduction, and then we have the first cause, the second cause, the third cause, and finally we come to the conclusion, and that's the example. Remember again, you can pause on each of these models that we have come through, and you can take a screenshot and study those ones or those examples or models. Moreover, we are going to make the let me say the models available on your Teams, on the Teams channel for the school, so that you can download it in PDF file and use it wherever you want. All right, you can also check it. I'm going to send it to my own students. I'm not sure about other teachers, through the EduNet. You can also find it in your let me say in the messages section of your EduNet. You can download the PDF file, print it, and keep it for studying before you go to the exam. Well, the last thing we are going to look at, I'm not going to do anything in this. This is the student book vocabulary. I made a glossary of all the important vocabulary that is mentioned in each unit of your book. Remember, you have a question on that vocabulary. It's going to be a multiple choice question, MCQ. So you need to be sure that you know all the list of words that will come in a while. So please, after each slide, pause, take a screen, and keep it for you for revision before the exam. Here are the common vocabulary that is mentioned in Unit 1. You can pause, take a screenshot, or you can use the PDF file that I will send to you later on. Here is the rest of Unit 1. In fact, in Unit 1 we have a lot of key vocabulary. However, it is not the same with all the other units. It will be less, don't worry. Here we come to Unit 2, and these are the words. As you can see, you have the main word, you have the Arabic meaning, and you have a synonym, because sometimes you need to match words with their synonyms in the exam. So you already know that harmony, the word that might have a similar meaning is balance, for example, or the word panel is similar to group or committee. The word key is similar to important or essential, and so on. We move on with the rest of the words we've got. Here we come to the end of Unit 2, and here we start Unit 3. That's the rest of Unit 3. And here is Unit 4. Unit 4, Lesson 1, Lesson 2, Lesson 3, and Lesson 5. And that is the last group of key vocabulary. That's Unit 4, Lesson 6, the last words we have got. And by that, we have come to the end of this revision session. Thank you very much for listening. I hope it was of any benefit to you, and I wish you the best of luck in your final exam. Thank you very much, and good luck in your exam. Bye.